everybody, welcome back for another episode here on the Darwin's Room channel. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I appreciate your support as always. And of course, que lo que a mi gente del Caribe. Today we're going to be talking about the latest film directed by Darren Aronofsky, Caught Stealing. It follows an ex-baseball player who is tasked with pet-sitting his neighbor's cat when he is unfortunately roped into a stolen money situation. This stars Austin Butler, Zoe Kravitz, who they both work wonderful together. I really enjoyed seeing them as a pair and their chemistry with one another and their dynamic. I think that there was some solid development of their relationship there in the early part of the movie, which does kind of dwindle out due to just the way that the story needs to propel itself forward. But with how they were able to develop the connection, it really helped you to feel that you had more vested into the story. And so they were fantastic. This movie also stars Regina King, who I haven't seen her in a little bit, and I've been really looking forward to seeing her take on another major role. And she is excellent in this film. Her performance is amazing, it's fantastic, and it's so great to see her in a role like this that feels so different from what I've seen from her before, but also powerful and really just awesome, really enjoyable to see this type of role. Another person that shows up in this film is Benito Martinez Ocasio, who is otherwise known as Bad Bunny. He is fantastic in this film. I was really impressed with his acting ability and talent. He's previously shown up in other movies such as Bullet Train, and he was great in there as well, although more limited. He has a much more active role in this film, and he is great, and I really enjoyed the dynamic that he brought to the story. Truly, everybody in this film gives fantastic and charismatic performances. They're very likable, even when they're not necessarily a good person. They do a great job, and there's elements of them that you enjoy seeing on screen, and it can be very witty. However, let me say, while it's witty, it is very intense. This is, at its heart, at its core, it is still a Darren Aronofsky film. The trailers might lead you to think otherwise, and that would be really my one big issue with this film, is that the marketing makes it feel like a more lighthearted crime thriller, but as you're watching the film, it is a lot more heavy. It's pretty dark at times and intense, and not exactly as you would expect for someone just having seen the trailer and maybe not knowing about Darren Aronofsky's filmography as a director. So go into it knowing that it will be a heavier film than what you might be anticipating based off of what you see in the trailer. Nonetheless, I really enjoyed it and I appreciated it, and it left me in thought because I thought that this film was very intentional with how the story is written. I don't know the book that it's based on, but the story of this film itself feels very intentional and thoughtful, and it has some really excellent themes on trauma and how we need to process through that trauma to move forward in life, but then also alcoholism. And it's really meaningful how it focuses on those two elements, and perhaps for some people how those elements intertwine. And so I was really encouraged by how impactful the writing of this film was, and it's well directed too. What I was impressed with is how, even though it's really intense at times and dark, it's still really fun and entertaining. So it somehow balances those two elements, those two essentially different genres, and incorporates it together, and it's extremely effective. And I was really impressed, and Darren Aronofsky has done it again. This is an incredible film, and I think that he incorporated some really well-timed humor with, as I mentioned, the wittiness, but also the pacing. It starts off as a slow burn, and it just slowly ramps up the intensity, the tension, the gravity of the situation. It continually pushes it further and further and puts our main protagonist, played by Austin Butler, in stickier and stickier situations. And you can't help but to root for him and want him to find a way out of this messy situation. And the way that you are so invested in the story and engaged and rooting for our main character, it's really well done. I was engaged with the film the entire runtime, and I absolutely loved it. I had so much fun with this movie. In terms of other cons, other than the marketing, as I mentioned, There was at least one or two plot holes that I noticed. They were very minor, however. It's nothing that impacts the overall effect of the story. It's just something that I felt was overlooked in maybe the final draft of the writing, or when filming, it just was overlooked because it was a very small detail, and honestly, that's just me being nitpicky, so I wouldn't be too harsh on this film for that. Other than that, this isn't necessarily a con, but more so just a warning for friends and family that try to monitor what their kids watch or that you don't want to see. I will warn that there is some brief nudity and drug use in this film, so be aware of that. And there is some heavy language at times, so if you go see this movie, just keep that in mind if you're going with younger people. But other than that, this is a fantastic film. I truly loved it. I loved how they incorporated baseball into it and real life events and how it ties into the story. I went with a friend of mine to go see it, and he explained some of the live footage of the baseball that they were showing in the background at certain sequences and how that integrates into the story and meshes into the overall themes being perpetuated through the plot. And so it's really effective, it's really thoughtful and intentional and very fun, but also intense and dark. So the balance that was achieved in this film is really a testament to the hard work that the whole film crew, the director, the actors, the writers, that everyone pitched in for this film. I think that there was a lot of hard work behind it, and it most certainly paid off. I absolutely loved it. So without further ado, I'm going to give Caught Stealing a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I love this film. I definitely think you guys should go and check this out. Stay tuned for more reviews here coming soon. I've been out of it for a little bit because I got sick and then my wife got sick and we were on a trip. So I've been a little bit behind. And of course, as you guys know from previous videos, and seeing an empty wall behind me. In the process of moving, a lot of my movie memorabilia is packed away. So thank you guys for your patience in waiting for reviews and for the continued support, as there's gonna be a little bit of a gap in between movie reviews. But I'm working on catching up right now, so stay tuned for more reviews coming soon. Thank you guys so much for watching. God bless you. Take care.